Yay.
Hey everyone, we are live. Welcome to our special Cozy Mystery release party celebration. I'm Sarah
Yay.
Burr,
And I am Leah Dobrinska.
and I hope we're here to have fun today, guys. I hope that you are as excited as we are, that our books are out in the world. Leah has started a brand new series, which is so exciting, and Troubled Waters is seriously one of my favorite mysteries that I have read like in the past 10 years. I'm still like geeking out over it, having read it like was it earlier this year? I like time
Think?
has flown. Um,
Yeah,
but I
I don't,
absolutely I absolutely love it and I can't wait to talk more about it.
I can't wait either. And I'm so excited that we get to chat about you heading back to Copper Bay in Fatal Sign Off. And it's just going to be a really fun chat today. So thanks for doing this, Sarah.
Oh
And
yeah.
thanks to everybody who's joining us. We're excited
Yes.
to celebrate with you.
Yes, and we've got just to kind of give you guys a little bit of an outline of how this is going to go. Leah and I, we're going to chat about our books, ask each other questions, kind of introduce you or reintroduce you to some of our characters. And then we have some special music and bookish trivia for you that will
Yeah.
culminate in some prize giveaways, which is super exciting. And then we will wrap things up here. Hopefully, we don't want to keep you too long. It'll probably be around 30 to 40 minutes. So if it's lunchtime where you are, hopefully you can sit back and enjoy your lunch. If it's morning where you are, you can enjoy your cup of coffee or tea. And let's dive in. And first off, so because Troubled Waters is the first in a brand new mystery. Leah, can you go ahead and kind of set the stage for us a little bit about the who Lee No Trap is and what brings her into solving a mystery?
Absolutely. So, yes. So, this little red book
Oh, so cute.
features, isn't it pretty? Features an amateur sleuth who is an aspiring songwriter. So, as I'm talking about her, I'm like, oh, how do I describe this character? She's kind of trying to break into the music industry in Nashville, or my fictional version of Nashville. That's where the book is set. So, Lee is young, she's scrappy, she's kind of just out of music school and trying to find her footing in Music City. So, she has been working with several kind of major players in the industry, friends of hers from her past, who she's kind of hoping will pave the way for her to launch her into the future. She doesn't really have aspirations to be like on stage, but she is a writer at heart. So she's trying to break in as a songwriter. One of her contacts, who she knew through music school, is kind of a breakout star. His name is Cal Dutton, and she writes music with him. He pulls the rug out from under her in a way that she is not expecting, and kind of it feels to her like he is sabotaging her and her plans to break into the industry. So when she goes to confront him about that, it's backstage at a show that he's about to put on, and she finds him unresponsive. So that's kind of the launch point for Troubled Waters. And we get to meet Lee in this kind of moment where she, like, nothing is going how she plans it, and she's a little bit off her game. And I did that intentionally so we could see Lee just kind of get to know her and get to know kind of how feisty she is and how she really isn't going to let anything get in her way. She's very driven, and yeah, she's got a strong sense of what she wants, and she's going to go after it. And in this case, that leads her to stumble right into a murder investigation.
And so it's like so glitzy with it being set in like this kind of country music celebrity filled area. One
Yes.
thing that like, and just hearing his name, Cal Dutton, I'm like, one thing that I love so much is the names in this book. Like
Mhm.
like, they're so country superstar,
Yes.
and it's just the names themselves really kind of invoke the scene and really set us up for some fun. And speaking of names, I want to give shout outs to folks who are chiming into our chat this morning. We've got Maureen joining us. Thank you so much, Maureen, for your congratulations. Mizan is joining us, and thank you. We
Yay.
appreciate you being here. Farmhouse Reader, yes, thank you again for your congratulations. You guys are awesome. And we've got DHB chiming in with a good afternoon. But we do have a question for you, Leah. We have from Mizan, how did you come up with Lee's first and last name? That's a really good
Ooh,
one.
this is a great question, Mizan. So you find this out as you read Troubled Waters. So I'm going to try to talk about it in a way that doesn't completely give away a plot point. But Lee's last name is a nod to one of the inspirations for the story. If you can work it out in your head, it's like a major female country music star. It's a little nod to her. And you will discover why Lee's first name is Lee toward the end of the book. So I don't want to give anything away, but I was very intentional in picking Lee's name. So think about her last name and what it might stand for,
Mm-hmm.
and then that'll answer your question. Otherwise, get to what chapter is it? Back probably about chapter 34 in the book, and that'll answer your question.
And I don't know if this is going to give it away too much, but you can also find like inspiration on a certain graphic that also represents the book.
Yes, and also maybe on the front cover.
Yes, yes. So it's a
There's a
little
little
scavenger hunt.
there's a little nod to the naming of the character on the front cover. But that actually, I want to talk to Sarah about the names in your book, Sarah, specifically, I mean, Fatal Sign Off, but this entire kind of book blogger series
Hmm.
centers around Winnie Lark, right? Arwen, is that right? Her
Yep.
full name? Okay, you've got to tell us about names because not only are your names in this series just top notch, but I feel like your main characters in all of your cozy series, like we've got Coco Klein and Hazel Wickberry,
Hmm.
right? Like these names are just like if they don't scream cozy mystery and just make you want to be best friends with these characters, I don't know what will. So, do you have a way that you choose names? Are your names intentional? Are you trying to set the scene? Because I feel like you do a really good job of that with your naming.
I thank you. I very much do. I try, so especially for, so kind of thinking from series to series, Coco, like she needed to have like a name that was really snappy, that kind of was like a personality in itself. So it took me a while, and I was actually talking about this yesterday during my lunchtime live, but it took me a while to figure out like I wanted it to be Coco, but like what could like support that name
Yes.
other than being Chanel. So it's like it was definitely a process coming up with that. For Hazel was I like kind of went along this route of, because it's this paranormal series, they have like this kind of connection to the earth, and their power, like we feel, is really kind of generated from their ability to kind of like tap into the natural world around them. I was like, okay, we definitely have to go with something that is floral or something that invokes a sense of nature. And
Mhm.
Wickbury, that was just like all out, like, well, she makes candles, and like there's
Candles.
a wick,
It's
and
so
and
perfect.
and kind of and weaving those all together was super fun. Winnie, though, her name, the saga that I went on for her name was actually, I think, one of the parts like why I sometimes, and I've talked a lot about this with my readers, that I kind of struggle to sometimes connect with Winnie, because her name wasn't
Mhm.
always Winnie. For the longest time, she had a
Oh.
different nickname that I used in the series. Her name was always going to be Arwen. And
Mhm.
that's because I love Lord of the Rings, and
Yep.
the fact that her and her twin, Arwen and Strider, the fact that they are actually like in the books, they are characters that get married to each other, is a little bit creepy, but they kind of joke about it. Um,
Yep.
but for the longest time, I was using a different nickname for Winnie, because
Okay.
I I wanted it to be similar enough to Arwen that you could see like where it was coming from.
Mhm.
But then a beta reader pointed out to me very astutely, it's like, wouldn't the people in Copper Bay be able to figure out that like her name is actually Arwen based on the nickname that you've given her. It was Ari.
Ah,
I'll just throw it out there. That's a special treat that you guys get for coming to the show. Her name was Ari.
insider intel.
And it's
Okay.
like, yes, and it's like, well, Ari Arwen, like they'd be able to make that connection. I was like, oh, that's a really good point. So I had to figure
Right.
out what's a nickname that I could use that still ties to her name a little bit, but
Yeah.
is removed enough that like, oh, like yeah, my last name's Lark. Like it's not really, I'm not related to like those Larks,
Right.
because of like the drama that Winnie has around her family, and like
Her family,
she goes
yeah.
to Copper Bay to kind of be a little bit reclusive and to get away from the spotlight that her family members tend to bring to themselves. So that name like provided me with a lot of angst trying to get to it, but once I got there it was like, okay, like this is it and we can move forward. And I think now book 3, like I'm finally like, okay, like I feel that her name is Winnie. But it
Oh,
did
your footing with
it
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it took me a while to get there.
And I have to ask a follow-up question because I've been curious. So her like online persona, her book blogger persona is the Wren, and that's
Yes.
another like pseudonym, right? Nobody knows that it's her. Did
Yeah.
you like, I just think that is the coolest book
I
blogger name. Like, how did you come up with that? And I love what you've done, like making the Wren come to life on Substack. Like
Yeah, that's been
people
really
can
fun.
actually read,
That was something you told
like,
me to do.
I think it's the coolest thing. Did I tell you? I feel like that was your
Yeah.
brainchild.
No, no, you were like,
Mhm.
Sarah, like you need to bring this to life, and like I can like see this blog being like a real thing. And I'm like, yes, something else to add to my to-do list.
I'm just
But I got
giving
there.
you jobs.
Yep, but I got there. So I honestly, I'm trying to think like why the Wren. I liked the idea. I think I'm a very visual person,
Hmm.
and I liked the idea of her logo being like a bird flying over a book. I don't know why. Like that was
Yeah.
just like something that, and because like it kind of symbolized like, she flew away from the life that she was living and like
Hmm.
started her own thing. But honestly, now that I'm really thinking about it, like her name Arwen is has Ren in it.
In it.
Like
That's what
almost. And
I
I was
wondered.
like, and I was
It's
like,
a little nod.
was I really that tricksy that's what I ended up doing? Or did I literally just look at a list of birds and was like, ooh, that sounds cool?
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't remember. But let's say that like it was a play on the fact that like her name is Arwen, and you can kind of arrange her name to be the Wren.
To be the Wren. Yeah.
Because I
I
do
love
love
it.
good word or like puzzles like anagrams and such. Um,
Yes.
so I have a question based on your introduction to us for Lee.
Yeah.
Does she? You said that she doesn't want to be on stage, but
Mhm.
as a songwriter, does she know how to like? Is she a good singer? I'm just
Yes.
curious. Okay,
Yes.
so she
So
could be on stage if she wanted to.
she could be. And we'll see how it plays out as the series goes on. I could see that shifting for her. And as she kind of comes into her own
Hmm.
and gains some confidence, perhaps she would have a moment down the line in the series where she does decide that like maybe I want to give it a go as a performer as
Oh,
alongside being a songwriter. So
hmm.
that will be fodder for potentially future installments in the series.
That's
But
so cool.
yeah, I don't know yet. We'll see.
The possibilities that you have starting with launching a new book series are endless, and
Yes.
I love how you kick off this one where Lee is going to confront Cal and she finds him unresponsive, and I have to give you credit for helping me with my plot in Fatal Sign Off because of the
Oh.
fact that, spoiler alert for everybody, it's in the first chapter, for Fatal Sign Off, but my victim is poisoned. And I was having, when I was
Oh.
starting to write this, I was having the hardest time figuring out what type of poison to use. And
Mhm.
I was doing all of these searches, going through all of these hoops to like figure out, I needed it to be a poison that was organic, like it was a flower, it was something that could be identified with somebody who has maybe a botanist background.
Yes.
And for those of you who've read the series, you may know who that person is. However, I was like so stuck on, I was like constantly rewriting the first chapters, trying to figure out like, how could I make this poison work? And literally reading the early investigation into Cal's murder, where, you know, the detective says something, it's like, oh, well, it had to be a fast acting poison. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why am I not just like researching what fast acting poisons are? And that literally was like the light bulb that went over my head. And
That's
from there, I
awesome.
was able to backtrack and find, okay, well, what are the organic sources of this poison, and finally
Nice.
go forward. So like you single-handedly saved me from like figuring out like, why didn't I just type in fast acting poisons?
Affecting poison. Just help us work smarter, not harder sometimes, right?
Exactly, exactly. So can you tell us why you chose to do poison in your as your murder weapon? What was the pull for this one?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'd like to say I have like a huge, like well thought out answer to that. But again, it was mostly like plot driven. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I wanted Cal to be murdered early in the story. I knew that I wanted it to be at like an event, right? He's supposed to go on stage and it's kind of like the buzz is going around like, where is this guy? And Lee ends up backstage and he's like splayed out on his like dressing room couch with like cups of tea, which I was like, well, what would a musician's like pre-performance ritual
Mm-hmm.
be? Like drinking something to like soothe his throat would be a natural thing that he could be doing that maybe somebody close to him would know that that was part of his like step-by-step process before he was out on stage. So it just was like a natural effect of the storyline that
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, it's going to be poison.
Oh, that's good.
And I did the same sort of thing. Like sometimes I feel like figuring out the murder weapon is where I struggle in cozy mysteries because I'm not like a chemist. I
Yeah.
don't have that sort of background, or I'm not even
Mm-hmm.
like a botanist. Or so my research is sometimes like, how can I make this work in the most simple way possible so that myself as an author can like track it or follow it. And so then
Yeah.
my reader can also like, oh, this is a logical like murder weapon here.
Mm-hmm.
So it just ended up being I was reading through, I think I checked out books at the library. Honestly, this was so long ago that I was researching like poisons. I was reading like an author's guide to poisoning or something and was just again going through and trying to find like something that would be fast acting because I wanted it to be in his pre-concert tea. So there wasn't a lot of leeway one way or the other for the poison to take effect.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I'm trying to think about like where you say like it was plot driven that it needed to be
mhm.
poison. I think that this was I always start with the murder for
Yes.
my like it's like the atom at the center of, or I don't even know the structure of atoms and molecules anymore, but like it's the nucleus of
It's the
of
center.
the whole
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
And so like when I think back to like all of the time, like what my murder weapons are, it's like not very often that it's something that just like is it's there because it's easy. It's like a spur of the
Hmm.
moment thing. It's always like very plot. Like the killer has intentions that they like purposely are
Yes.
doing this.
Yep.
And I knew like in this one, like it had to be poison because I needed the world to think, oh, he probably died of a heart attack.
Right.
Whereas you have Winnie and her circle being like, oh no, like this is like, he's showing all the signs of acute poisoning. And so like having that work together, and
Yeah.
coming up with those like lines, because yes, I'm not a chemist, and I always
Yeah.
think of what would the poison lady think of what I am doing. And for those of you who may not know, there is this woman, and I'm blanking on what her real name is, but she calls herself the poison
The
lady,
poison lady. Yeah.
and she goes to all these conferences, and she's an expert in poisons, and she actually advises authors about like situations and making their poisons be as believable as possible.
Yeah.
And I definitely know that I am have some scenarios in my writing that probably aren't as believable. And if she read them, she'd be like, "Gosh, this woman doesn't know anything about poisons." But we make it work. We make it
I
work.
was gonna say, I feel like readers give us a little grace in cozy
Yes.
mysteries as long as it like keeps the story moving, keeps the plot moving, and it's you can get invested in it. I feel like
Yes.
hopefully readers, you're okay. You understand that we're not experts in poison, though we do our research and try to be.
Mm,
But I have
yep.
to applaud you, Sarah, because I feel like the setup for Fatal Sign Off, like you already said, like the poisoning happens right in chapter one, like super early on. And the way you set it up, I'm gonna try not to give it away, but like the cast of characters who is present when the poisoning happens, like it was so smart how that scene kind of unfolded because of the group of people who were there. It almost was like the investigation could happen right away because
Yes.
of one of those people being like, this it actually isn't a heart attack. This looks more like the result of a fast-acting poison or something like that. And I just think that the pacing of Fatal Sign Off, readers, if you haven't had a chance to read it yet. I know it just came out on Tuesday. So if you haven't read it yet, but if you're planning to read it, like buckle up and give yourself a chunk of time because when I read this book, I did not want to put it down. It was so well paced and like you just hit the ground running right from that opening scene and it just like snowballs. And I have to give you credit because after reading that, I actually went back to the draft of Troubled Waters and I was like, I want to tighten this up. Like, I want this to read like Sarah's book because
Aw.
it was just so compelling and like so fun to feel like I was just wrapped up in this whirlwind of a mystery. And like, not to the point where it was reckless or like you were throwing too many things at us, but it was just like, bam, this thing led to this thing, which led to this thing. And it was like so natural how it all unfolded. I think it was so well plotted and so well paced. And
Well, thank
hopefully
you.
I was able to replicate some of that in Troubled Waters.
Well, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you like my jaw-dropping killer reveal that you have. Like I don't like I can't talk about it because I don't want to like obviously give any spoilers, but like the I had no idea like your who your killer was. And I pride myself in being somebody that like know like I know how cozy mystery authors work. I know what
Yes.
our like process is and like, when characters are introduced and all of this stuff. And so when I'm writing, I'm trying to like undo those habits and like,
Right.
insert them in other locations and make sure that it's like, okay, I got to keep the reader on my toes or the reader on
Hmm.
their toes. And but your killer I just like didn't see from a mile away and it was just like it was so satisfying because I'm not rarely surprised. I'm
Yeah.
rarely surprised when I'm reading a cozy mystery just because I know the formula. And that one I was so excited and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I would love to like have I'm like trying to figure out for like a new mystery like how can I make my killer as awesome as Leah's turned out to be."
Oh,
So,
that's so kind. That's so
um
kind. And if readers read my acknowledgement section, they'll see this. But another shout out to Sarah because she read an early version of this book, and your reaction to the killer reveal is the thing that like made me publish this book because you were like, it's so great and people need to read this and somebody else needs to read this so I can talk to them about it.
yes.
And that was just the encouragement that I needed to get it out of the drafts folder. And yes, so thank you to Sarah for your kind words.
Well, you're welcome, readers, that Troubled Waters gets to be out in the world because I literally sent Leah like an all caps message of like, "Oh my god, I love this." So yes, like, so like you guys are in for such treats. I see that Mizan said, I know nothing about poison, so I don't think about those facts at all. So that's good, Mizan,
Good
because
to know.
we
We
I
appreciate
mean
that.
we try to present facts, but we're not like sometimes the thing that always gets me is like the window of time, because you can look up something online and it's like, oh, like side effects can happen between like anywhere between 30 minutes to 72 hours, and it's like, well,
Right.
that is a long time frame
Long
that
window.
something could be
Yeah.
happening. So it's always very interesting. So
Well, and the
um
other thing that's tricky is like, so you can know as the author that like, okay, this character is poisoned, but there's also such a lag time for the police in real life to like
Yeah.
get the toxicology reports back and actually like confirm that. So that can sometimes also be another tricky aspect. Like you want your book to be fast paced and like one thing leading to the next, but like how do you write it so that it's realistic? You know,
Yes.
are there other things indicating that this is poison that we can just go off that assumption and work through it for the sake of the story that maybe in real life we would be waiting longer to get confirmation from the actual like medical side of things. So
Yes. And that
there's
like
a lot that we're juggling.
that's such a good point, especially like anchoring it in reality. And I like find, because I am an avid true crime podcast listener,
Yeah.
I got to, it's like, wow, like, these reports take weeks to come back. So
Right.
that was one thing, especially like having Winnie's mom be the one to be like, this looks like poisoning.
Hmm.
That she kind of triggers everybody to jumping in, like, okay, like we need to treat this a little bit more seriously and like get a rush on
Yes.
all of this information. But that's hard like to incorporate, because I like to move my cases at very fast pace because I don't know how to keep track of time.
Yeah.
I once read a cozy mystery that took place over a month, and I was like,
Ooh.
how did they do this? Because
Yeah.
I would not be, I can barely keep track of like 5 days. And
Yeah.
like a month's time is like, that's too much for me. So that's
Yeah.
kind of why like I have to like fit everything into those small time frames, because I like to
Yeah.
move at like a bajillion miles a minute.
Yeah.
Maureen says she gets it. It's also hard to find the right poison. So Maureen, if you ever need an advisor to assist you, I think if you just Google the poison lady, like her
Poison lady.
information pops up, and she like you give her the scenario, and she will come up with the poison for you. It's like
Mhm.
such like a magical. She's so magical and helpful. But
Yeah.
also, speaking of pacing and time, Leah, I told you like these things
Oh
like
my
fly
goodness.
by so fast. Like we're almost at 12:30. We need to do
It's
our
almost,
trivia, you guys, because
yes.
we want to make sure that we give you ample time to go through our trivia questions. So bear with us for this little like rough segment of transition.
It's gonna be great.
Yes. So just to kind of really quickly before I bring up our slide deck, but to lay out some ground rules, we are going to do the honor system. If you guys would put you can put it's A through D for our questions, multiple choice questions. If you put you can just put like the letter into the chat, but if you can keep track of the points that you're getting on your end, and then at the end, let us know the number of points that you got, we will send out some swag to the people that get the highest score, or possibly if we're feeling generous, we may just send it out to all of you.
The more the merrier.
Since we have a cozy group with us for our live show.
Yeah.
So that being said, I am going to pull up our trivia deck, and hopefully I go through this correctly. Hopefully you guys are seeing trivia time on your side. I am going to kick it over to Leah for our very first question that we have, and that is, let
All
me pull
right.
it up.
What? Oh, you
Yep,
tell me when it's up.
it is
Okay,
up.
are we
Go
good to
for it.
go? Awesome. So, what is considered the highest selling country music of all time, the world over? So, globally, we've got A, Double Live by Garth Brooks, B, Wide Open Spaces from the Chicks, C, Come On Over, which is a Shania Twain album, or D, Under the Influence by Alan Jackson.
And I actually know I am like woefully ignorant when it comes to country music, except for Taylor Swift. But I actually do
We'll
recognize
get.
all these names, so that I
Okay.
feel good about that. So, folks, go ahead and put your guess or your what you know to be fact. Even if you're horrible at trivia, farmhouse reader, no worries.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give it a try. And Maureen, you and me are in the same boat. However, I think some of these questions going forward, you will be able to guess, because there are some good. We've got some like good country music trivia for people that may not be versed in country music trivia.
Country music. Yes.
All
Yes.
right, so put your final answers in, folks. Make sure that you have everything noted down. Leah, would you like to share what the
Yes.
answer is?
So the answer is C, Come On Over by Shania Twain,
Nice.
which is one of the soundtracks of my childhood. It sold 37.3 million copies globally, which is wild.
Wow.
Um, and yes, such a good album. So that's the
That's
answer, C.
wild.
We love
So,
some Shania Twain around here.
and it seems Farmhouse Reader said C because I love her. So
Hey,
that was
me
a good
too.
guess. All right,
Yes.
fabulous. Okay, so moving on to our next trivia question. This one is going to be a bookish themed one for those of for Fatal Sign Off. What was the first book Agatha Christie ever published? The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, Murder on the Links, The Mysterious Affair at Styles, or The Murder at the Vicarage? And God, those titles are so much fun
So good.
to say. Like, just, oh, they're so fun.
They're so good. Speaking of poison, sometimes when I'm trying to come up with a murder weapon, I just read an Agatha Christie book and see how she did it because
That
she's the queen.
that is a good way to go about it. All right, folks, get your answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Our first published book is The Mysterious Affair at Styles. So we've got some Agatha Christie. Looks like we've got a few folks that know Agatha Christie, and I think
Nice.
no, and Farmhouse Reader. Not as good of a guess for this round, but we love to see the effort.
Love
Okay,
the enthusiasm. All right.
question. Next question, Leah, to you.
Awesome. We're going with the Taylor Swift question this time. So, what
Hey.
was Taylor Swift's first chart-topping song? Was it Teardrops on My Guitar, Love Story, Our Song, or White Horse?
Oh, I love all of these songs so
I
much.
know.
And just a fun fact for those of you here, that picture of Taylor is actually one that I took of her at her Eras Tour concert.
Isn't that
So it's like a
cool?
real picture. It's not something that I have to copyright or
Didn't have to worry about the rights of that one.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So we've got, oh gosh, so many good ones. I'm trying to think. Do you have, which one of these is your favorite, Leah?
Oh man, I would have to go with Love Story as my
Mm,
favorite. That album Fearless came out when I was in college, dating myself, but
yes.
I remember like walking to class,
Mm-hmm.
like singing the lyrics to that song, like trying to remember them and like crossing traffic and being like, "Oh, I got to make sure I don't get hit by a car because I'm obsessing over these lyrics."
Yep.
So I love that one. It's a nod to my English major heart, right? The Romeo and Juliet
Yep.
storyline. But
I think I love the that's obviously the one that I like I'm always singing and have literally been singing it since she announced her engagement on Tuesday.
yes, yeah.
But I will say that Teardrops on My Guitar I think is my favorite music video out of these.
Oh yeah.
There's just something
Good,
about that one. Even though the guy in
good
it I
choice.
don't really like. He was like a weirdo on One Tree Hill, so I was like, why is he in this
Yeah.
video?
Yeah.
That's also dating myself. Okay, so what is our answer for this one?
So the actual answer is C, Our Song,
Mm.
which was her third single, but it was her first number one on Billboard's Hot Country Songs. So we went with that one.
What was her first single? Was it Tim McGraw?
So I think Tim McGraw was her
Hmm.
first single. And then I want to say Teardrops on My Guitar came
Okay.
next, and then Our Song.
Okay. We
So
are very much we know Taylor Swift here.
yeah.
All
Yep.
right, good. So we had I think Maureen got our song correct, and then Mizan and Farmhouse Reader they picked the one that is my favorite music video. So good job all around, everybody.
Yeah.
Our next one is a book themed question. This is going to be if like if we remember, what year did the first ebook readers appear in the market?
Oh gosh.
And I was I was actually very surprised at this one. I wasn't, and hadn't even heard of the e-reader that it was.
Ooh.
So it's either 2001, 2008, 1991, or 1998.
Oh, it's a big range.
And I'm also thinking when I was like coming up with like the multiple choice for this, I was like, what was my thought process behind these other these other years?
Yeah.
All right.
I know the year I got my first e-reader.
I didn't get mine until college.
Yeah, same.
I got a Nook, the Barnes and
Oh,
Noble
okay.
Nook.
I had a
And
Kindle Fire.
I was not in college. Well, actually I was in college. No, was I? Yeah, I was in college for one of these years. So
Okay.
that could also give some hints. All right, our answer is 1998 D. And
Ooh.
so like way ahead of like even before Y2K took over the world, we had the soft book and Gemstar's Rocket ebook reader. Those were the first like
Huh.
two ebook readers to get on onto the mass market.
Wow.
All right. So our next trivia question is yours, Leah.
Yeah, let's talk about Dolly Parton. So, which two songs are rumored to have been written in the same day by Dolly Parton? What a queen. All right, was it Jolene and I Will Always Love You, 9 to 5 and Working Girl, Old Black Kettle and Daddy's Working Boots, or The Coat of Many Colors and Traveling Man?
This answer blows my mind.
The fact that
Like the
she
fact
wrote
there were
any
two songs. Yeah.
song. Yeah.
Oh, and that's something that we didn't really get to talk about is like the fact that you like have some song lyrics in Troubled Waters, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I tried my hand. I used to write poetry all the time just for fun.
Hmm.
And I didn't know if I wanted to include song lyrics because I am not a songwriter, but I thought it added a little something to the story to write the lyrics that Lee was writing as
Hmm.
the story went. So, um, yes, they're in there.
Love it. And we have regarding the ebook question, Maureen didn't get one until 2018, and Mizan didn't get one until 2024. Mizan, I remember when you got
Wow.
your e-reader. Yeah, I got a Nook, and I had my Nook for a while, and then I switched over to Kindle, and have pretty much gotten like a Kindle every couple of years.
Yeah.
Even though now I've been really just using my iPad because I'm
Mm.
old and I need the text to be really big, and so I just use the Kindle app on my
The
iPad.
app. Yes. The apps are so nice. I like having mine on my phone because it's in my pocket and I always have my book with me.
So I think we have all of our folks have contributed their answers, and you guys are not going to believe this one, Leah. What two songs did she write in the same day?
Okay, guys, it's A, Jolene and I Will Always Love You, which
The like
boggles
most
the mind.
iconic songs, like I Will Always Love You is one of the most iconic songs of all time, and the fact
Yes.
that like she has such grace, and the fact that like Whitney Houston, I always thought that that was like Whitney Houston's song. So when I
Yeah.
found out that it was actually Dolly Parton and she had done a cover on it, I was like, can you imagine like how like graceful she must be to be like, wow, like this woman just like slayed
This song. Yeah.
my song. And I mean, I think she said it multiple times where she's like, she like does that song so much better than me.
Yes. Well, and she's like, it's my song, but that version of it is Whitney's song. Like that is
Yeah.
Whitney's song. So yeah. And I caveat to this question, it's not, it's rumored that she wrote these on the exact same day. What we do know is they were on like the same demo, like whatever it was, a cassette or whatever it
Hmm.
was that they were recording. So like it had to be in the same week or it was like a super small period of time.
Yeah.
Could have been in the same afternoon, but crazy. This is a little factoid that's included in Troubled Waters because I just could not get over it.
So like, I think I've definitely like, that's been like a trivia question that I've encountered in the real world before, and so
Yeah.
that's just so cool. All right, next question, you guys. This one: what year was Goodreads officially launched out into the world as a website? 2005, 2007, 2010, or 2011? This one I was for some reason, I expected Goodreads to have been around less time than it. Like, for some reason, I didn't think Goodreads like became a thing until like 2019 or 2018.
Yeah.
I don't know, but time also is blurred together for me, and I don't even know when it got acquired by Amazon.
That's what I was just thinking. I wonder when that happened.
I'll have to do that as a follow up.
Further research required.
Yes. And I'm realizing that my questions aren't as like fun or lore filled as the country music ones are.
I love a good bookish question. I think it's great.
And I think, well, I'm actually feeling good about this one because everybody got it right. It is 2007, which is
Wow.
a year that I graduated high school.
Hey, me too.
Oh my
Double
God,
seven.
we're the same. We're the same class. That's so fun.
I don't know that I ever knew that.
I did not know that. That's fun. Learn something new every day.
Look at
So,
that.
and then I was the class of 2011. Our school
Yeah.
like we had to have like class chants for ours, and ours was we're the class of 2011, full of sweetness sent from heaven, double the fun,
Oh,
double the one, and then it was
double
something
the
silly.
one. I feel like you need to write like a class reunion cozy mystery and
Oh
include your
God.
chant.
That would be a horror story if I did a class
A horror story.
reunion.
I feel
I'd be
like
like
lots,
I would need to be heavily sedated to go to a
lots
reunion.
of material there. That's fun.
All right,
Cool.
our next country related question. This one, we'll see how people do.
I'm curious to see what the guesses are. So, which country music star has won the most Grammys? Is it Vince Gill, Taylor Swift, Alison Krauss, or Johnny Cash? I feel like we could get some Jeopardy music in the
I
background.
should have do 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 do
Yeah,
do
can make our
do.
own.
This one, I would definitely say I had no idea and was very like surprised and need explanations.
Yeah, I likewise.
Taylor Swift started in, I think Maureen, her first, let's see, Taylor Swift, uh, Fearless,
Fearless and Red
Red,
and
Speak
Speak
Now.
Now.
Yeah, I think those were all like pretty much her. I mean, Red was a little bit like transitioning out of country, but
Yeah.
1989 was actually like her first like pop album. So
Yep.
she was a country darling for a while.
Yep.
Um, Lost count. Yeah, well, Farmhouse Reader has the same question that I have, Leah. Who is Alison Krauss, and how many Grammys does she have?
Well, should we give the answer away here? The
Yes.
answer is B, Alison Krauss, and she actually has 27 Grammys, you guys. I cannot. I couldn't
How?
believe it. I thought the answer would be like Johnny Cash or something,
Yeah,
so Johnny Cash has 13 Grammys, Taylor Swift has 14, Vince Gill has 22, and Alison Krauss has 27
that is
Grammys.
wild. I don't like.
So
Who is she? I've never heard of her before.
well, we should all, again, further research required. I think she might have been involved in a group as well. So maybe there was some
Oh, like,
solo
yep.
Grammys and some with that group. But yeah, I have heard of Alison Krauss, could not tell you a song of hers off the top of my head, sadly. But was not expecting that to be the answer
That is
either. So
wild. That is
yes.
wild. Um, so fun fact, we're learning something new.
No,
So
we gotta all go listen to some Alison Krauss music
yeah,
and see.
I'm listening like, who is she? All
Yes.
right, our last trivia question for this fun little event, you guys, is which of these is not a book award? A, the Hugo Award. B, the Lyle Fox Golden Pen Award. C, the Lambda Literary Award, and D, the Doug Wright Award. Oh, and Mizan knows who Alison Krauss is. Mizan,
Oh,
what
okay.
songs, what has she done? And please tell us.
Yes.
And this was a fun one, like looking up all of the book awards that I have not won in my lifetime. There are so many out there, and there's so many
You gotta
for
have a
like
stretch goal,
different.
Sarah.
Yeah, I gotta start. But the all of these were really very interesting, except the fake one that I made up. And
Hey.
I'm gonna give you guys a fun story as to why I made up the name I did. So everybody guessed the Doug Wright Award, and unfortunately, that is incorrect. The Doug Wright Award
Ooh,
is actually for graphic novels, which I thought was
no
super cool
way.
because I'm a huge manga person, and I was like, oh, well, that's
Yeah.
awesome. The Hugo Award is for children's books. The
The real
Lambda
one.
Literary Award, I believe, is excellence for stories told from persons of color. And so the Lyle Fox Golden Pen Award is the made up award that is number one, Lyle, which is the name of Arwen's dad, which is Lyle
Yep.
Lark. He's a children's author. And then Fox is Rosemary Fox's last name, Detective Rosemary Fox. So we have like a little mashup of some of my book characters in this one. And then Golden
Characters.
Pen, I thought was just like very hoity-toity. So, but some of them were like seriously like extremely long titles, and so
Yeah.
I just had to like pick the ones that would fit on my slide. So,
Well, it's the your made up one sounds super fancy too. And we have to give you a shout out, Sarah, because you might not have won one of these awards yet, but your Fatal Sign Off book had a nice orange flag on it
it
this morning on
did.
Amazon
Yes, I
for
was
a
like,
best little bestseller tag.
yeah, I was
How
like,
cool is
I was like
that?
jaw drop shocked. I was like, I'm totally gonna grab a screenshot of this to prove to myself that it happened.
Yeah.
So I was super super excited. So thank you everybody who has gone out and bought the book and supported us. And I'm curious, how did everybody? So Farmhouse got two correct.
Great.
Good effort, a good effort by all. You guys, we love you and we appreciate you hanging out here with us in the middle of your day. So
Yes.
we would love it if you could, let me paste it in our chat.
Perfect.
Go ahead and email us or email me at giveaways@itsbookishtime.com, a shout out and plug for our upcoming season of A Bookish Moment.
Yeah.
You all are worthy of getting some bookmarks, some stickers, a friendly note from both Leah and I. So go ahead, send your mailing address, and we will drop those in the mail so you have some fun stuff to look forward to. Because we really, really appreciate that you came here
Yeah.
and hung out with us live to celebrate the release of Troubled Waters and Fatal Sign Off.
Yay. What a happy
Which,
day.
what a happy day. And I just have to really quickly, let's talk about our titles. Troubled Waters. What was like, well, actually, I like feel like I was
You
there
were,
for it.
Sarah. I feel like
Yes.
you were the impetus behind this title. So I have a really hard time titling books. I usually check in with my hive mind, which is my siblings and my cousins and my parents, my aunts and uncle. Like we have like a massive group text. And I'm always like, okay, guys, like music themed cozy mystery needs some puns. And they came up with so many good names,
Oh,
but they were like I think we named books 2 through 5 in that group text. And
oh
I was
wow.
kind of like going back and forth with the idea of like bridge over troubled waters or like because I'm that's a song name. So I was like, well, I could use that. And then I think you said, Sarah, like, what about trebled waters? Like, what about bridge over trebled waters? And then I think we were like, how about just trebled waters?
Mhm.
And there is, if you read the book, you'll recognize why that works both from a musical
Yes.
standpoint and a plot point standpoint. So, yeah, we landed on a good one. I think you and I were chatting, and that's when
We
the
were.
title came to be.
So magical. I feel like I that may and that's like another reason why I just love this book so much is because it's like I like got to see it like unfold and become
From the
amazing
beginning.
because it
Yeah.
was just so awesome.
Tell us about Fatal Sign Off.
Fatal
How'd that one
Sign
come
Off.
about?
Well, I'm like all about trying to like I love cozy mystery book puns, obviously. And so I was
Hmm.
trying to figure out like how can I do something that's like book blog like tapping into that blogger aspect of Winnie's life. And I mean, it was just something that really just worked enough because we have this podcaster who he like drops his weekly like spills the tea and like is really nasty about everybody on his podcast, and then he just dies, and it's like, well, he's signed off for good.
Signed off.
And
Yep.
I love trying to be able to like weave in the like the theme of the book, or like the, I don't know, like just like the niche of the book
Hmm.
into the title itself. And I think Fatal Sign Off was always going to be Fatal Sign Off. Dearly Deleted, that was the one that got retitled, because when I was originally like shopping the book around, I had something
Yeah.
different. But I think actually that's going to be the title of book 4.
Nice.
So, and with that said, we have a question from Mizan about whether or not there is another book in the works for your Fall in Love series, Leah.
Ooh, okay. Yes, Mizan. So I also write romantic comedies and romances. My Fall in Love series is a 4-book series, which is technically wrapped up with those 4 books. However, the third book in that series, X's Don't, features a football team. The main character is the quarterback on the football team, and we met several of his teammates in X's Don't. And so I am writing their stories. So while it's not set in the exact same series, it will be set in a very nearby location, and there will be lots of crossover from the characters that you met in Cashmere Cove, the little town in the Fall in Love series, and the new Green Bay River Foxes football books. So stay tuned for that. That will actually be my next release, will be a rom-com in a brand new romantic comedy series. So I've got that on my plate, and then also hoping I'm midway through the draft of the second book in the Songwriter Sleuth Mysteries. So more mysteries, more adventures to come for
Yay.
Lee and the gang in this kind of cozy world. So lots to write, lots to share in the future.
Fabulous. And I have to apologize. That question was actually from Farmhouse Reader.
Oh,
So Farmhouse Reader is also very curious, but Mizan says that she's curious too. So
okay.
we got
Both of you, thank you. Thanks for your interest in all of my books. I'm so grateful.
and so we've got those to look forward to. That's very, very
Mhm.
exciting. I can't wait. I can't wait for more of Lee's story. It's such a good start to a cozy mystery
Thank
series,
you.
and look forward to more. Um,
Yay, thank
any
you.
parting thoughts, Leah, before we sign off on our fabulous little party that we've had?
This was so fun. I just want to thank you all for watching live. Thank you to anybody who watches in the future. Thanks to all of our readers who check out our books. We, both Sarah and I, have been doing this for a while, and we always recognize that every book is not for every reader, but we're really grateful when people take a chance on one of our stories. So if you've read one of our books, if you've read 10 of our books, we're very, very grateful. So please keep reading. Let us know what you think. Sarah, I have to thank you for doing most of the legwork, coordinating this awesome launch event. It was so fun to get to chat with you.
Oh, well, I this was a treat. This isn't work for me. This is like just hanging out and getting to have some fun. And thank
Yes.
you, Leah, for teaming up with me and for writing an incredible book. And thank you to our wonderful viewers who came and hung out with us live. And anybody who is watching after the fact, we thank you for, and please, if you leave any comments, we can see them and we can respond to
Mhm.
them afterwards. So if you have any
Yeah.
questions, more than happy to hop on and ask them. We really, really appreciate all the support, all of the excitement, all the love that you show us. Maureen says, congratulations again, friends. We have Mizan saying, I
Thank
want to read
you.
all of the books you both write, which is so
Aw,
wonderful.
so kind.
That's why we do it. That's why we write these stories, is to share them with you. So thank you guys again so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Leah, tell the folks where your website and your newsletter.
Yes, so my website is leahdobrinska.com, just my first and last name. You can sign up for my newsletter there. It's the direct link is leahdobrinska.com/newsletter. I send a once a month email with book recommendations, writing update, little life update, and then some of my monthly favorites. So I'm not going to spam your inbox, but I love getting connected to readers through that newsletter community. So I hope to have you there. And you can find all of my social media accounts and different things linked through my website as well. What about you,
Awesome.
Sarah? Where can we
You can
find you?
find me at saraheburr.com, and that's Sarah with an H. My newsletter is also linked through my website, but you can also find it directly on Substack by searching Sarah E. Burr Books. I also do Leah is so much more organized when it comes to her newsletter than I am. I am lucky if I send it once a month. I try to send it once a month, but I very much love connecting with you guys on social media. I do a weekly live on Facebook where I check in, I chat about the craziness going on in my life, and share a little peek behind the writing curtain. Those are my lunchtime lives,
So
Wednesdays at
fun.
1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and a little plug for a Bookish moment, which is coming back on September 9th. We're going to be joined first by Adrian Andover for his brand new book, Whiskey Business, which I absolutely
Yay.
love saying. It's one of those puns that just rolls off the tongue. And for those eagle-eyed readers of Fatal Sign-Off, you might see what the Wren thinks about Whiskey Business
Yeah.
in her musings. So again, folks, thank you so much. Leah, we have another comment chiming in from David, who says, very interesting, informative show. What hard work and research you folks do. So thank you very much, David.
Oh, thanks, David.
We appreciate that, and wishing you all a wonderful rest of your week. Happy Thursday, and thanks again, everybody, for being here. We really, really, really
Yeah.
appreciate it. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.